I want you to cheat on me so I can divorce you.
I want you to cheat on me so I can divorce you.
So that was a literal conversation that we had about 25 years ago. The beginning of our marriage, the first several years were terrible.
Yeah, it was a failure, and I'm pretty sure I was the reason it crashed and burned. I was so self-centered and self-serving, so prideful.
I'm pretty sure I had something to do with it too.
Well, I thought I'd gotten the homecoming queen and the valedictorian for a wife.
Well, and I was thinking, oh, I get the NFL football player for a husband.
You see, the problem was the getting. We were interested in what we got and what we were getting from our spouse. We were interested in taking instead of giving. Hi, I'm Cameron.
And I'm Dana.
We're with Wedded Bliss 101 Marriage Ministries.
So, what we've learned over the last 25 years or so, working with marriages and working within marriage ministries, is that, if you do marriage God's way, you actually have a 100% success rate.
Yeah, that's right, Dana. Marriage done God's way does have a 100% success rate, and we had it backwards.
Mm-hmm.
The purpose of marriage is not what you get out of it or what you get from your spouse, it's what you give.
Yeah, and you hear the saying, it's in marriage, it's a 50-50 give and take.
Yeah, it's not a 50-50 compromise, give and take. It's more like 100-0 both ways.
Right. In fact, the best marriages are two servants in love.
Mm-hmm. Marriage is the only place where you should try your hardest to get second place.
Mm.
And Philippians 2 tells us, do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit, but with humility of mind, let each one of you put one another more important than yourself.
Yeah. Now we get it. We understand that Jesus is the only one that's going to meet your deepest needs. For example, your eternal security, your identity, your purpose in life.
Yeah, but God has placed you in a marriage because you have needs that only your spouse can meet. And you're the only one that can meet the needs of your spouse.
True. And in 1 Peter, it even says, husbands, live with your wives in an understanding way.
Yeah, and Ephesians says, wives, respect your husbands. And husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church.
And the Bible also says that husbands and wives should submit one to another.
Yeah, that's right. Neither one is subservient to the other. They're on an equal level. Right. It's like your marriage and your home is a kingdom, and she's your queen and he's the king, and he honors her and respects her and calls her her majesty. But then she turns to him and calls him your highness. And one exercise that we like to do with our Wedded Bliss one-on-one ministry, we like to do it twice a year, and we encourage our couples to do, is called meeting needs.
So you have specific needs that only your spouse can fill, and vice versa. Mm-hmm. But we need to know exactly what those needs are.
Yeah, and according to Marriage Today Ministries and Exo Marriage Ministries, and the thousands of couples that they've dealt with and the surveys that they've taken, they've compiled a list of the top 4 needs of a husband and a wife within a Christian marriage. And the top 4 needs of a wife are, number 1, security. And security is several different levels. It can be financial security, emotional security. Right. Need number 2 is soft, non-sexual affection. Need number 3 is women need open and honest communication. Men, that means we need to listen and we need to talk about our emotions. And number 4 is leadership. And leadership is also on several different levels. It can be spiritual leadership. It can be helping with discipline at home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And what they say for the top 4 needs of a husband in marriage are, so number 1 would be honor and respect. Number 2 is often a favorite, and that would be sex. Number 3 would be recreational companionship, hanging out with each other. Number 4 would be support at home, the domestic support.
So here's how meeting needs exercise is done within the Wedded Bliss 101 curriculum. Get a pencil and a 3x5 card, kind of like this. And think for a second, write down your top 4 needs that you need from your spouse in your marriage.
Yeah, and it can be anything because you are you.
Yeah, and Dana and I did it this week. We like to do it every New Year's Eve and every 4th of July, twice a year. Ours ended up being a little bit different.
Yeah, they did. And they do change over time too, because it kind of just depends on what's going on in your life. Do you have kids? Do you not have kids? If you have kids, what age are your kids at and how demanding is that? Or do you have health issues going on right now? So when we did it this time, my top needs came out as number one, I really need Cam to be my spiritual leader. So spiritual leadership was huge for me. Number two, I need to feel secure. So security is up there in the sense of I need to know that he puts us first, that he's going to be faithful, that he's going to protect this unit. Number three for me is recreational companionship. I love spending time and doing date nights and going out with him. Number four for me would be emotional support and caring, especially just recently because I've had some health issues and knowing that he's there for me during that and he's not leaving, that gives me that emotional support that I need. And I did give myself a number five, so I bent the rules a little bit. But for number five for me is that soft, non sexual affection. Like, I want to hold hands and I want to hug and not really necessarily expect something in return for that.
Yeah, and the irony is the more non-sexual affection you show to your wife, the more sexual she's going to want to be. Okay, so my top 4 needs are sexual excitement, number 1. Number 2, kind, sweet, caring, positive, gentle attitude. And when we talk about sex, sex in the Old Testament was the covenant seal of marriage. It wasn't even the marriage, the wedding ceremony in the church. It was the coming together, the two of one flesh, two becoming one flesh.
Right.
And marriage experts say women have the gift of sex and men have the need for sex, and that's the glue that keeps them together.
For sure.
Okay, so my number 2 need is kind and sweet, caring, positive, gentle attitude.
I need to work on that.
Yeah, I've just been beat up by so many, well, actually relatives, and I need you there for me to nurse me back to health, emotionally especially. Number 3 need is recreational companion. She's my buddy. We know of a marriage that was saved. The couple says the marriage was saved because she said, yes, I will go deer hunting with you.
Right.
All that time they got to spend together. And my number 4 top need is my emotional bodyguard. It is true that men are stronger physically, but they are the weaker gender emotionally.
And you know what? There are no rules here, and no person is the same as somebody else. You don't have the exact same needs as somebody else. So they're different, they're changing, they're fluid. So it really just kind of depends, like I said, on what stage are you in life. And that's why it's important to do it a couple times a year because things change.
Things do change and your needs change. Unmet needs are the number 1 cause of divorce.
Think about it. Self. We serve ourselves. What am I going to get out of this marriage?
Yeah, and this is the single most impactful exercise that we do for our marriage. It reminds me of my purpose in it. To serve her by meeting her needs. It's selflessness. And I get to do that. I'm the only one on the planet that has the privilege, that's lucky enough, to meet your needs in marriage.
Yeah, so we hope that you're going to get together with your spouse and enjoy doing this activity together, discussing the exercise. And remember, though, going into it, you need to have the right heart, the right perspective. You want to make sure that you're going into it with the how can I better meet the needs of my spouse attitude.
How can I better meet the needs of my spouse? That's a fantastic selfless attitude. Philippians 2, right there. Good job, Dana. Yeah, and I like to say, the best thing you can do for yourself is to not do something for yourself.
Right. So have fun with this. We love marriage and we love you guys.
Yep. Love you guys.